Here we are in the Villages today. I rented this bike. It's a Velotric Discovery. I think maybe Discovery 1. I'm not 100% sure because I rented it, don't know a lot about it. I tried to do a little research on it. I didn't know what I was getting until the bike showed up. But I took it out for a good hour ride, put 30 plus miles on it, and I'm going to tell you what I liked about this bike, and I'm going to tell you what I didn't like about the bike. So it's a pretty good bike. Well, here we are today in the Villages, Florida. This is a rental bike that I got. It's a Velotric. It appears to be pretty new. It said it has 3 miles on it, but I know that can be set back, but let's assume it has 3 miles on it. I took it for a ride. Rides out pretty good. I've got a couple things that I don't like about it, and I'll let you know that. But this is a pretty nice bike. You know, on the website, it says $12.49 right now, and it's normally $15.99. So for $12.49, it's a pretty good bike. I would think if this is the kind of bike you want, you know, for $12.49, it's doable. So I looked on the website. So it appears that the seat probably was not something that came on the bike. Maybe the rental company put it on. The mirror and the handle grips appear also to be put on. That bottle cage, obviously. They included a lock and a bag, which is nice. They included a helmet, which is great. I would mention the rental company, but I don't have their permission, so I'm not going to say anything. So I took it for a ride. I wanted to take it for a ride before I reviewed it, because I want to get a feel for the bike. So it rides out well. It's got a 14.4 battery in it. So I took it out for a good hour today. I put 30 miles on it so far, and it's two bars left. I had it in pedal assist for quite a bit, 3 probably half the time. So I come from New Hampshire. It's all hilly. And I run in pedal assist 3, so pedal assist 4 on this bike felt more what I was used to. I could not get that speed out of it though that I like normally, and one of the big reasons for that is the small size crank they have on this bike. So we'll go around and we'll take a look at this crank. The crank's here. I counted it out. It's only a 42 tooth crank, so I mean, come on, should have had at least a 52 tooth on it. So you're ghost pedaling at 15 miles an hour on this bike. That's my one complaint about it. I think I'm going to go around the other side because it's got the name of the rental place on that side. So the welds on this bike are superior. I mean, these are pretty nice welds. This is nice. This cover on the side here. Initially, I thought maybe these bikes might come with a mid-drive. Maybe they do. I mean, it looks like a mid-drive unit could fit in here, but I think it's to house the wires. They did an excellent job at hiding the wires on this bike. If you look at this bike, you don't see the cables. All these cables are running through the frame, and I mean, they go into the side here. Very nice cable management up here. Very nice cable management here, and into the side. I don't know what these bosses are on the side though. They're on both sides. I don't know if you could put a water bottle on them. It's hard to tell without fitting it. The battery on the thing, one thing I don't like is the internal batteries. The one thing about the internal battery is it hides in the bike, which is great, but I don't know. I think it just makes it look chunkier up the front with it hiding like that. But then again, I guess it's better than having the battery hanging off of it. But I don't know. I don't really like internal batteries. I like external batteries. I think you can do more with them. If I wanted to upgrade the battery, I'm kind of stuck with buying the battery from Velotric to get a larger size, unless I went with an external battery on it, which would mean, you know, putting a mount on it and stuff. Some of the things, so the crank I don't like. the plastic pedals, I'm not too crazy about that. The kickstand's pretty cool. It sits way back, which is nice, so it's not in the way of the pedals. But they recessed it in here. I like that. You know, it looks nice. The bike itself looks pretty nice. It's a 26-inch 2.5 tire on the thing. It looks like a big fat tire bike when you look at it from behind, but it's not. It's a skinny tire. They got like a road tire on it. Rides nice and quiet. Plastic fenders, not too crazy about the plastic fenders, but you know, they serve the purpose, and I don't know, you don't really notice it, I guess. The light, it's a running light and a brake light. Super. I don't understand why more companies don't have brake lights. This one has a brake light. Kind of cool thing. They put the V in there for the Velotric. I thought that was pretty cool. The rack is a 25 kilogram rack. So I looked it up. That's 50 pounds. So 50 pounds you could put on that rack. This is a Discovery. I believe it's a Discovery 1. It has a 7-speed turning derailleur on it, which is typical of any budget bike. It's pretty standard on every bike I've seen for the most part. And it's got the standard shifter on it, but they all have to put these shifters on it because everything is on top on these shifters. A lot of the speed shifters have it on the bottom, and because of the throttles on these bike, it's usually in the way. Like you could not have this throttle would be in the way of the usually they have a bottom I want to say gear, but it's not a gear, but this part is on the bottom on the speed shifters. So I mean, these are standard on all the electric bikes, and they have to have these things. Like I said, I initially thought this bike was going to have cable pull brakes on it, but it has hydraulic, and they work super good. The bike itself rode out really nice. I don't know if it's something that I would buy and ride, but it certainly did the job in here. The step-through frame probably would have been a better suit for me. I got, you know, this has the bar over. I'm 63 years old, so I would much rather have the step-through. They do have a step-through. I chose to get this one because I haven't ridden one with a bar on it like this. Even I had another bike that had a step-through that was a 26-inch like this, and I actually got rid of it because I didn't like the way it rode. But again, I'm from New Hampshire, and we got a lot of hills up there, and that one was a torque sensor on it, and torque sensors work great, but I didn't like it on the road. Torque sensor means it senses torque, so you actually have to be doing some pedaling to get the motor to engage. Where a cannon sensor just senses the fact that the pedals are going around, so you can ghost pedal and the thing's going to go like a bat out of hell for the most part. This thing, I had it up to 25 miles an hour. It ghost pedals at 15 miles an hour, so you could cure that with a larger crank. I have no idea why they didn't put a 52 tooth on this, and if they're listening, I highly suggest you go with a 52 tooth, or at least experiment with it. But it's a great looking bike. It's got all the features, everything else. You know, the light is pretty much there just for daytime. I didn't try it at night, but none of these lights on these bikes work, you know, for night lighting. You really should go with a handlebar light for that. The screen's accurate. It's efficient. It's pretty much like everybody else's. So, you know, you've got your speed, your mileage, your battery, your assist level, your average speed, your maximum speed, and your time out. Your calories and your power level, which I did look at it, and it showed what power was going to the motor at the time you were pedaling. The one bad thing is 48 volts. That's all it says is 48 volts. So I'm assuming the battery's a 48 volt battery, so they just put 48 volts on it. I'm used to a meter that goes up and down. When my battery's fully charged, I got about 53 volts. When my battery's totally depleted, I got 42 volts. This one just says 48. So other than the battery bar, that I don't know how accurate it is, that's all you can tell. So I think that's a little bit of a problem. The other thing is, which is typical of these bikes, I don't know of any way to lock it out so that it's not functional, like a key or anything like that. There is a key in the bike, but the key just takes the battery out. So to secure it, what I normally do on these bikes, or any bike, and I'm trying to see if this is the cable here. It appears that it is the cable going to this. So they have a plug right here. I just unplug it. Once you unplug that, this bike is virtually, other than pedaling it, it won't function as a assisted bike, and no one ever notices that it's unplugged. It does have shocks on the front. The shocks work good. I mean, they're entry-level shocks, but they work fine for what I was doing. And like I said, these are all nice, easy streets around here. This would be a good bike for a senior if it had the step through. If this was the step through, it's pretty low. This bar wouldn't be in the way, so this bike would be a pretty good bike if that's what you wanted. Personally, I think a 20-inch, for somebody that hasn't ridden in a long time, I think a 20-inch bike, you're closer to the ground. They're smaller tires, it maneuvers better. This thing takes a little more road to turn it around than a 20-inch bike. So I think a 20-inch bike is probably better for somebody that hasn't ridden in a long time. When I initially got my 26-inch bike, I hadn't ridden in 25 years. So I didn't feel the way it rode was where I was at the time. I was also 100 pounds heavier and, wanted a lot more assist than I require nowadays. So to me, and there's not a lot of them out there, I would like to try to rent one this week to try it. But I think a 24-inch bike might be the perfect size for, for a adult that hasn't been on a bike for a long time. This bike here is a good bike if you just wanted a bike type thing. It goes along really good. The assistance in it at the power level, so if you hit the throttle at power level 3, it's power level 3 throttle. I'm sure there's probably a way to override that so you can have full throttle if you want it. Because I like to have, if I'm in pedal assist 3 but I come to an intersection, I like to take off with the throttle. So I want full throttle. I don't want pedal assist 3 throttle. I want the full throttle. So again, it's probably a setting in the unit. I don't know. It's a rental bike. I wish I knew a little bit more about it. I didn't even know what I was getting till this morning. So like I said, it's a good bike. I think people would be happy with it, especially for the price. I don't know if it's worth the $15.99 at full price, but it's definitely worth the $12.49 they have it for right now. I believe the rack may be an accessory item. When I looked on the site, it did seem to appear as a accessory item. I don't know if these things come assembled or not. I did notice the front wheel is a quick release on it, so you could take the wheel off to make it easy to throw it in your car. I did not look the weight of the bike up, but I picked it up, and it's not a light bike. I would estimate it at 70 poundish, somewhere in there. So it's not, could I throw it in a car? Absolutely. Can everybody? I don't know. It depends on your ability. But I can also tell you that I have 3 folding bikes at home, 1 non-folding bike, and we don't fold them to take them now. I bought a rack for the back of the car. It's just a pain in the ass to fold the bikes. Can you do it? Absolutely. It's 10 minutes to fold them. Take the batteries off, get them in the car. We were putting them in totes. Then you take when you get there, you take the totes out, you take the bikes out, you fold them back up, you put all the batteries back in, you put your mirrors are all screwed up, everything. You're 20 minutes between breaking down and setting up the bike. So if you're thinking that you're going to throw these bikes in your car and you're going to do it once a week, probably not going to happen. Not a folding bike. I mean, you need an outside rack, and you're talking on these bikes, you have to have a trailer hitch on your car. I didn't want to put a trailer hitch on my car, but I did buy a 2-inch hitch. Put it on the car, bought the 2-inch rack, works great. I can put 200 pounds of bikes on it, and I haven't had no problems. It's super easy too. You take the whole bike. Honestly, if I'm going on the highway, if I'm going on the highway, then I'm taking the batteries off, I'm lighting the bikes up. If I'm just going down the road 20 minutes, I leave the batteries, everything on the bike. So, but I'm getting off subject from the bike. So, all in all, this Velotric Discovery, for $12.50, yeah, I would pay $12.50 for it. But again, if this is what you want, I'm not convinced that that this style bike, there certainly is a lot of them out there, is what I want to drive all the time. I kind of like the bikes I got, but I wish they were 24 inch. But all right, so that's my my review on this. I don't think there's anything else I know. I did see there's a boss down here for the bottle. They put the bottle up here. I guess it's easier to reach. When I took it out for a ride, I had cameras all over the bike, so I need more bar. The other thing too on the bar, you're going to lean forward on this bike. I don't like to lean forward, so I would like to see on this particular bike, normally I like a BMX bar on the bike, but this bike I would like to see like a beach cruiser style, where the bars would sweep back, so you'd be holding onto the bars over here. So maybe if we could come up on it. This thing here is not a folding neck like some of the bikes are. So you could lose this, you could put a new neck on it, come up with the bars a little bit, and maybe get, like I said, beach cruiser bars where they sweep back. And if there was a rise to the bar, give it some more height. I'd like to see the bars up more by 5-6 inches and swept back so that I could ride upright rather than bent over. It's not, I wasn't super bent over, and I did take it out for an hour. My neck area was getting pinched, and I know a lot of people, a lot of older people, and I keep saying older people because that's the people that are buying these bikes. We want to sit upright. We don't want to lean over the bar, and a lot of these people, their wrist tingle and stuff from putting their weight to their wrists. So if this is a cruiser style bike and that's what they're going for, then I would like to see the swept back bars on it, a little more rise to the handlebars, put a bigger crank on this thing, and you would have yourself a hell of a bike. I mean, to put a crank on this bike, to sweep back the bars the way they need to be, you were talking, if you did it yourself, I'd say about $150 to $200. Even if you had a bike shop do it, I can't imagine it'd be over $300. For another $300 into this bike, you'd have a perfect bike. So I think it's a great bike.